Today, we're headed to a place called Orchha, and it's one of those spots that feels like it's been perfectly preserved, just frozen in time. So let's dive right in. So get this, the name Orchha literally means hidden. How perfect is that? Because this whole place, tucked away on the banks of the Betwa River, really does feel like a well-kept secret just waiting to be told. So that's the big question, right? What secrets does this forgotten kingdom actually hold? Well, its story, it's literally written in stone. We're talking grand palaces, soaring temples, quiet memorials. And to really understand it, we've got to go back, way back, almost 500 years.
All right, so let's set the stage. We're in an era of massive change, of shifting empires. You've got these fiercely proud Bundela Rajputs trying to carve out their own space, all while navigating the immense, and I mean immense, power of the Mughal Empire.
Okay, so let's do a quick flyby of Orchha's history. It all kicks off in 1531 when a Rajput chief lays the first stone. Then his successor gets busy building temples. But the real golden age? That happens under a guy named Veer Singh Deo. He makes this super smart, powerful alliance with the Mughal Emperor Jahangir, and bam, Orchha just explodes with these incredible buildings. But, and this is the key part, in 1635, it all just stops. The Mughals capture the city, and its development is basically frozen right there. It's like someone hit the pause button, leaving us this perfect snapshot of the 17th century.
And you can see that whole complex history, that delicate dance between Rajput pride and Mughal power, written all over the architecture, especially in the palaces. You know, they're not just buildings. They're like a conversation, a dialogue between two totally different cultures, but it's all spoken in stone. And the best place to see this dialogue in action, you've got these two massive palaces standing right next to each other. First, there's the Rajah Mahal, the king's palace. It's pure Rajput style, super simple on the outside, almost like a fortress. But then, literally right next door, you have the Jahangir Mahal. And this thing is a grand fusion, covered in classic Mughal-style domes. Two palaces, side by side, telling two completely different stories about Orchha's identity. But remember that plain, fortress-like Rajah Mahal? Well, don't let that exterior fool you. Because inside, wow, it's an absolute explosion of color. The walls are just covered in these breathtaking murals. We're talking gods and heroes from the Ramayana and Mahabharata, scenes of lavish parties, even mythical creatures. It's like a whole universe of stories has been secretly painted on the inside. Now, the Jahangir Mahal, it was the complete opposite. It was all about showing off its grandeur on the outside. In fact, it was so impressive that even the Encyclopedia Britannica called it a singularly beautiful specimen. But here's the craziest part. King Veer Singh Deo built this entire, enormous palace, all 236 rooms of it, to host the Emperor Jahangir for one single night. Just one. That tells you everything you need to know about how important that political alliance was. So the palaces tell one incredible story, but that's not Orchha's only secret. Not by a long shot. To find the spiritual heart of this city, we have to look at a very curious legend. It's a story that explains why, in this one particular place, a god is also the king. Okay, so the legend goes like this. It all started with a bit of a friendly challenge, between the king and queen. The king, Madhukar Shah, he was a devotee of Krishna, but his wife, Queen Ganesh Kuwari, she worshipped Lord Ram. So the king, probably just teasing her, says something like, if your devotion is really that powerful, then bring Lord Ram here to Orchha, in person. So the queen takes this challenge seriously. She travels all the way to Ayodhya, Ram's birthplace, and she prays and prays. And guess what? It works. Lord Ram appears to her in the form of a child and agrees to go to Orchha. But there were conditions, 3 very strict rules. Rule number 1, he would only travel during a very specific celestial window. Rule number 2, once he got to Orchha, he would be the king, not any human ruler. And rule number 3, and this one is the real game changer, the very first place his idol was set down, that would be his permanent final home, no takebacks. So back in Orchha, the king is getting ready. He builds this absolutely magnificent temple, the Chaturbhuj temple, this masterpiece designed to be Ram's new home. But when the queen finally gets back, she's exhausted from the journey. She just wants to rest for the night, so she goes to her own palace and places the idol down there. And boom, that third condition kicks in. The idol could never be moved again. To this day, that huge grand temple stands empty. And the queen's humble palace, it was converted into the Ram Raja temple. It's literally the only temple in all of India where Lord Ram is worshipped as a king. The story of Orchha's kings is told in its palaces and temples, for sure. But it doesn't end there. For the final chapter, we have to go down to the serene banks of the river to see their final resting places. Right there, dotted along the banks of the Betwa River, you'll see these incredible structures rising up. There are 14 of them. They're called Kshatris, which are basically cenotaphs. Beautiful, elegant memorials, one for each of the Bundela kings who ruled Orchha. And this is where the story takes a really beautiful, unexpected turn. These time-worn monuments, these memories of kings long gone, they aren't empty. They've become a sanctuary, a vital breeding ground, in fact, for a rare and threatened species, the Indian long-billed vulture. It's just amazing. Here in Orchha, history isn't just a memory. It's become a cradle for new life. So you see, Orchha isn't just some dusty relic of the past. It's a living, breathing town, and its incredible legacies, thankfully, finally starting to get the recognition it absolutely deserves. Just back in 2019, the government officially proposed putting Orchha on the tentative list for UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Now, this is a huge deal. It's the critical first step toward getting that global recognition, which would help make sure that this hidden kingdom and all its unique stories are protected for generations to come. So when you put it all together, from its amazing blend of Rajput and Mughal architecture to the legend of a god who rules as king, Orchha is a city of incredible layers, perfectly frozen at its most glorious moment. It feels like it's still waiting to be truly discovered, which really leads to the final question I want to leave you with. If you were to walk its ancient streets, what story would you find here?